The Lyman 450 Luber sizer. I'm not going to get into this, the operation on this device the way it's supposed to be used. If you really want to find out, if you ask and I get the time, I'll try setting it up and using it like it's supposed to be used. But if you go to ammosmith.com on YouTube, he has a series, a 3-part video that shows how to set this up, use it, and everything. It's a pretty complicated machine. I used it for years, my cast bullets, when I was using a softer lubricant, the old beeswax and alex. And it works pretty good. The thing is, the press itself, or the machine itself, is fairly expensive. And I've gotten away from using the softer lubes to a harder lube, which to use this with a hard lube, you'd have to have a heating unit. You buy that separately and attach it. Or the new 4500 Lymans have a built-in heating unit because everyone's kind of gone towards the harder lubricants, and you have to heat them in order to make it work on this press. Basically how it works is, I got a hard lube stick here. You get a hollow stick. It goes in the back here. There's a reservoir with there's a cap on there, and then a plunger and a rod. You drop it in, ratchet it in the back. It pressures. It comes down into this reservoir, pushes it down into this area here, and it pressurizes. Here's a die. It pressurizes the die in that bottom part of the casting. And then when you also have to have with this a top punch and a die. The top punch has to mate up with the nose of the bullet. And the top punch will push down into the die. And you see that rod comes out and exposes these holes. And that's where the lubricant, while it's in there, will go into your grease grooves. And on the upstroke of the lever, like this bottom part comes up and pushes this back up, and then the bullet will come out of the die. It's complicated to use, it's expensive, and each different type of bullet you have to get a different top punch. If you're changing your bullet styles, you have to buy a die, and other than our little lead, which you screw in and just push up, which is more than adequate. How I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this machine for two things. I'm going to use it to seat the gas checks. There's a way of doing it, and I'll go through that in a separate video. And I'm going to use it for sizing. Even though I pan lube the bullets, I'm not going to have any of the lubricant in the machine. I'm just going to use the die to size the bullet. Why? Because I already have them. Instead of trying to get a lead die or whatever. I already have the dies, I already have the top punch. I'm using a different lubricant, so I'm kind of modifying the whole thing. And I'm still going to use this to size with this die. And I'll show a video on how I size with this. What it is, the bullets are pan lubed, they already got lubricant on them, and I just run them through the sizer, bring them to size. That's about it. But that's how we're going to use this. Even though I don't use it 100% say, or running lube through the machine itself, I still use the sizing dies, and I use it to seat the gas checks on the bullets. And the reason I kind of went with the lubricant, like this bullet here is lubed with that old beeswax. It's sticky, it gets runny. When it's hot out, it'll stick, all the bullets stick together. And like on this 8x50, as you see, I'm only seating the very end of the base in there and exposing the grease grooves. So I have to use a more solid lubricant, because if I use that soft lubricant where you don't need a heater, all kinds of stuff would stick to this ammunition and create problems and just a pain. So I've gone to a different style lubricant, and I use both methods because I find it, for what I do, it's the fastest way to do it. Okay.